So guys, we have had a couple of really big, I don't want to say reveals because we already knew they were coming, but some really big exposés, some really big gameplay showcases, some really big trailer action for a couple of massive games that are coming out this fall. In fact, I would say two of the five biggest games coming out this fall. And they both are going to sell quite a few copies. They also both are struggling with a different major problem that I see. So today I want to talk about those two things. Two big games with two bigger problems. And we're going to start with Star Wars Outlaws. I am typically a Star Wars defender. Not defender, but I appreciate it for what it is. Escapist, sci-fantasy, goofball magic in space. Physics don't have to work. I don't care about the woke stuff. It can just do its thing. I'll enjoy what I enjoy. I'll enjoy less what I enjoy less. But it's usually still fun. And the new Star Wars Outlaws looks pretty sharp. Like on the surface, pretty compelling looking game. The transitions from on foot to speeder bikes look cool. The transitions from speeder bike to space look cool. Not quite as free as No Man's Sky, but definitely more free than Starfield. So it looks like they're doing some things right. And even though it's Ubisoft, some of the Assassin's Creeds and some of the Far Cry's were pretty decent. And while I didn't play it, all the accounts of the Avatar Pandora game said it was pretty decent, if you could handle the Ubisoft formula. And this really does look less, quote, Ubisoft than I expected. But when you look closer, it really, really looks like Far Cry gameplay in third person with the Star Wars setting. The blaster combat looks atrocious. It looks worse than the original Battlefront. And it was actually pretty decent, but I see no impact. I know they're blaster bolts. They're not going to have weight, but you don't see, it's just damage sponges and damage output. And swapping to weapons with limited ammo doesn't feel that thrilling. The best things about the trailers that I've seen for Star Wars Outlaws are the little helper critter. Looks kind of cool, but also looks like you're really going to be overusing him during the stealth, and the stealth looks atrocious aside from that. Just a simple crouch button, and I don't know if it's even line of sight. Like there were sequences in the trailer where she was very definitely in the guard's peripheral vision and just walking right up to bop him on the head. And I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm struggling with what it's actually going to be. It just looks so generic. And I'm afraid that that's what we're going to get. I'm afraid we're going to get a B- Han Solo story with a lady, which that part doesn't bother me. The B- Han Solo part does. With very little force, which is fine. Not everything has to have the force and or kicked ass. But I just don't think this is going to be it. I just don't think this is going to be it. Between the really weak looking stealth and the really weak looking combat, and the fact that it's just cluttered with a typical Ubisoft UI. It looks like an Assassin's Creed UI. I left that out of the Far Cry Assassin's Creed comparisons. I just don't know what to expect. And I'm still going to give it a chance. I'm still waiting to see what people have to say. But it's not doing it for me. Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is an entirely different side of the issue. The first trailer showcased a really bold gonzo fantasy take on, the way I look at it, Mass Effect 2's Suicide Normandy run. You're gonna go after these wild personalities and gather them all up and follow their little side quests and then go do stuff. And it feels more Borderlands or Overwatch than Dragon Age. And that's kind of weird in regards to tone. And today's gameplay trailer helped alleviate a little bit of my worry about that. But it really feels like they saw Baldur's Gate 3 do a beautiful take on dramatic high fantasy and were afraid to follow that up. I suspect the pivot from Dreadwolf to the Veilguard and the Gonzo style trailer with the Overwatch style character introductions was part of that pivot. I don't know if it's going to work. It feels like a very bizarre setup for a group of heroes. But I guess we'll see. The combat, the gameplay trailer today looked a lot more Inquisition than the first one. The look still doesn't feel Dragon Age to me, and the tone definitely doesn't. But we'll see. So yeah, 2 of this year's biggest releases, and one of them's got gameplay that feels 12 years old while it looks modern, and the other's tone feels 12 years old while it looks modern. So I think both games are going to struggle with reception. I know both games have already struggled with public perception as, you know, in a development and preview phase. But I really don't know what to think about how these 2 are going to finally turn out. I'm sure they're going to have their good moments, but... And of course, to round out the second half of 2024's likely biggest releases, we've got the pretty much 18th Assassin's Creed and the, 31st Call of Duty. So yeah, it's going to be an iterative fall. Hopefully there's some gems scattered amongst the AAA rubbish. We'll just have to see. So anyway, my name's Tim. Let me know what you guys are thinking about these 2 games. Am I dead on? Am I dead wrong? Let me know. Come back again sometime. Good to see you. Take care.